In this video, we'll talk about Socratic learning, a framework that uses information from the discriminative model to systematically improve the generative model.
The traditional machine learning model uses labeled data and its features to learn a hypothesis to make predictions on new data. In the case of unstructured data, where no training labels are available, domain experts can hand-label the data, while machine learning experts can engineer features appropriate for the problem. Recently, techniques such as deep learning have reduced the need for manual feature engineering. However, these processes usually require large amounts of labeled training data.
Recent work called data programming presents a programmatic way to create large training sets efficiently. Unlike in the traditional pipeline, the domain experts write labeling functions, or user-defined heuristics, to noisily label large subsets of data. These labeling functions are modeled as a generative process that allows data programming to denoise the training set labels. The discriminative model then uses these labels along with features of the data.
To ensemble multiple labels for a single data point, we train a generative model to approximate the accuracy of a labeling function. Data programming assumes that a labeling function's accuracy is uniform over a set of data. However, it is possible that labeling functions have biases on identifiable subsets of the data. By finding the most relevant feature that leads to this imbalance, we can learn more fine-grained accuracies for the labeling functions for different subsets of the data. Here, we see that the labeling function that had average accuracy on the entire dataset is actually extremely accurate when a certain feature is present. This additional knowledge in the generative model allows us to improve the accuracy of both the generative and discriminative models.
Here we describe the end-to-end Socratic learning pipeline and how it can be used to debug the generative model. First, experts collect unstructured data and write labeling functions to produce noisy labels. We train a generative model on the labeling function output and generate labels for a subset of the data that we can use to train a standard discriminative model. Note that the domain of the generative model is the labeling function output, while the discriminative model learns a mapping from the featureization of the data to the noisy labels. Socratic learning trains a third model called the difference model to find which features are most relevant to disagreements between the generative and discriminative models. We feed this feature into an augmented generative model and iterate. This feature will improve the generative model misspecification as well as provide insights to the domain experts on how to add or debug labeling functions. We looked at how Socratic learning performs in a variety of datasets, and the results are promising. An example of the improvement with respect to majority vote and data programming are shown here. To learn more about the experiments and the interpretable feedback Socratic learning can provide, check out our manuscript linked below. Thanks for listening.